The Coffee with Composers. I'm Sapphire, Skye, Toth, and this is Christina Ensign, second-year master's student in music composition here at UNL. How you doing?
Doing well. How are you, Sapphire?
Pretty good. I got coffee. I got my friends here. I can't complain too much.
Yeah, I feel that one.
So some people here are following us on all of the social medias. If they're here, they probably are, actually. So let's get your update on your New Year's resolution. How's drinking as much water as you are coffee?
Honestly, if I'm honest about it, not as well as I had hoped. The goal was to drink a glass of water for every cup of coffee I have, and I'd say maybe 1 out of every 3 cups of coffee gets a glass of water with it. So, progress, slow progress.
But you're still working on it, right? You haven't given up yet.
Working, yep.
See, there you go. Everyone else I saw at the gym on January 2nd is already gone, so. See, so there you go. That's something. All right. I have heard bits and pieces of your story going into college. I know you said you started off wanting to be a orchestral clarinetist, right?
Yes.
You have definitely swayed a lot from that initial path. Do you mind telling us how you got in here from there?
Sure. I grew up playing clarinet, and I was on track. I wanted to be an orchestral clarinetist, and my life was spending hours and hours in the practice room playing orchestral excerpts, playing Mozart, playing everything you do as a clarinetist. About halfway into my undergraduate degree, I had really started to discover music theory research and became really interested in music theory. And I also started becoming really interested in doubling, so woodwind doubling, playing saxophone and flute as well. And I ended up actually switching my degree plan to an undergraduate in music theory, and pursuing kind of both of those interests, the music theory and the woodwind doubling, which allowed me to open my doors to a lot of pit gigs, playing with musicals, which is something I'm really passionate about, and also to jazz. So I had a lot of opportunity there. And then I was working on a textbook for UNL with Dr. Foley and Dr. Von Kampen, and they kind of suggested, they said, well, you're a theory person, why don't you take an independent study in composition? And this was during my senior year of my undergrad, and I said, okay. And I took an independent study in composition with Dr. Von Kampen, and ever since then, I've been a composer.
So that brings me a little bit into my next question.
Mm-hmm.
Music theory and composition are sometimes seen as being the same degree, or they're at least addressed as the same degree.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see that a lot of schools, especially when I lived in Idaho, music theory and composition, they're not even offered separately. They're the same degree.
Yeah.
At UNL, they're offered as music theory or music composition.
Absolutely.
You think of them as two separate skill sets, the same skill set? How do you look at things?
I think they're two separate entities that feed very much into one another. Music theory is still theory, and composition is still composition, but composition informs everything that we've decided as theorists. We learn that from composers and from trends that we've seen in composers, and as a composer, we learn, from the basis of theory and how can we change this, how can we adapt this, and what options does it give us in our toolbox to use. So I think they very much support one another, and it's kind of the yin and yang you need for both, I think. But to answer your question, I think they're two separate things, but very much linked.
Would you say that how you have explored music as a composer has affected in any way the way you teach theory?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that composition is and should be a large part of teaching theory, especially at beginner levels. I think it's a great way to explore concepts that you've learned, and to explore for the teacher seeing what we've actually learned, because it gives you a creative space, which is what we're doing. We're creative people, allowing us to give the students freedom to see what music theory really means and how they can experience it personally.
What would you say for the performers that say, I don't write music, I don't understand why I need to know this?
Well, I don't think a compositional exercise in a theory class is the same as being a composer. I think that's a little different. as being, I should say, like a professional composer. You know, I think it's an important skill to learn because it unlocks a freer part of your brain. I think in the same way, I think all musicians should learn some form of improv, even if it's not jazz improv, you know, even if it's a drone-based improv for a classical musician, or, you know, an organist improving in the style of Bach. I think unlocking that really loose creative part of your brain is essential to being a musician and to being a creative artist in any form.
I love that. So you started an independent study in composition during your undergrad, right? Senior year?
Correct.
And then was there anything that you'd written before that?
I did some dabbling in composition in middle school. I have actually, kind of funny, I found last night actually a folder of compositions I had written as a 6th, 7th grader or so.
Really?
Yeah,
You should have brought
pretty
them
funny.
in.
They're hilarious. They won't see the light of day very much, but it was a great learning experience. It was really exciting for me at the time, I think. And then somewhere along the line, you know, around 8th grade, I dropped it. I was practicing clarinet and piano so much. I played piano too growing up. And for some reason I just forgot about it, and I didn't touch composition again until really that independent study, and I hadn't even really thought about it. It was just something I kind of did in early middle school, kind of doodling, and I never really expected it to turn into something I'd be really passionate about in my life.
And so what are you doing that you'd like the audience to know about? Your commissions, what you're working on as far as theory and writing go? Like what are the things that make you really excited right now in your career?
Yeah, there's a lot. It's a busy time. I've been, as you mentioned, I've been really fortunate to be able to work with the Saxophonist magazine. I write a bi-monthly column for the magazine called Meet the Composer, and I get to interview composers, kind of like you're doing, and
just a different medium.
Yeah, and write about their music. And that's been really fascinating for me to get to learn about these composers and kind of merge my theory and composition passions. I've been doing a lot of theory research. I'm presenting at a few conferences my paper on Maria Schneider's song cycle, Winter Morning Walks, and I'm also right now working on some new research on the string quartets of Charles Ives. And then in the composition world, commissions, I have just actually gotten to work with some high schoolers at Centennial High School in Circle Pines, Minnesota, on a commission called Puzzles that I did for their SATB choir. And I just finished up a commission for Binary, which is a saxophone duo, and they're going to premiere that at the NASA conference this year. So lots of fun things coming up. Working on my thesis now, so I can graduate, and that's a big thing to take on. But you know, we'll make it.
When do you sleep?
When do I sleep?
Because I'm not hearing that in your schedule.
At night, sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, most of the time actually. No, I am also fortunate that I was, I guess fortunate and unfortunate that I was given the incredible ability to schedule really well. It's one of my weird talents is that I can take a schedule and just block out every minute of every day and be able to stick to a schedule, because I'm also very anal about things. So it can be a good thing, can be a bad thing, but that kind of helps me stay on track, helps me make sure I get my sleep, can take care of my dogs, can like go for runs. I like to run, you know, and still get my work done.
That is awesome. So you're finishing up your master's. I know it was only a year ago, but what message would you have to younger Christina at the beginning of your degree?
I think I would tell myself to just enjoy every minute of it, because it's gone by real fast. I think when you start your graduate degree, you're so much thinking about what's at the end of it, what's coming after, what this degree will lead to. And there's just been so many great moments and great learning opportunities, teaching opportunities along the way. And as it gets nearer to the end, I just wish it weren't over yet. So I think just telling myself to slow down and enjoy it.
So the question I'm asking everyone else too, what's next?
What's next? Well, I'm hoping to find a job would be a good thing. Hoping to stick around Lincoln for another year, maybe two, and then pursue a doctorate degree in some combination of composition and music theory work with the intent of teaching at the collegiate level would be the goal.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being a student here, letting us all get to know you.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming to the show today. All right. Well, have a good one. We'll catch you later.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.